As you can see, me and many others were very excited about the upcoming DLC. But is it worth the money? The moolah, the dough, the spice, the cheese?
Cheese. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it is. That's a good fucking DLC right there. But is it actually worth it? Will it quench your thirst for incest? Does this change the meta or enhance the pure enjoyment we get as a community from inbreeding? Plus there's a few other differences non-incest related, which we might as well discuss. First off, the biggest and most flashy thing included is obviously the view of the court. As we've already established, this is really funny. However, it does include a lot of little features to help make the playthrough... Fuck! What was this script? To help make every playthrough seem a little bit more different, or at the very least, a little bit more personal. CK3 suffered from this quite a bit before, in my opinion. If you hit a succession of deaths and you're left with some random 35-year-old great nephew, you're just not really going to be that attached to them. Or the character you've made is just a little bit boring, a little bit bland, it can really ruin a playthrough. But additions such as the artifacts, court amenities, and your court grandeur will definitely help in a role-playing aspect, making your dynasty feel more unique, more grand, or just pathetic and decrepit, starving your courtiers to keep all the money for yourself. It really depends what you're going for. The main thing is, it gives you choices, it makes your dynasty feel like your own, and I like that. This also makes dynasties feel way more important than they used to. Without the DLC, your character's pretty much priority number one. I don't really give a fuck about the overall dynasty. Whereas now you can have different focuses rather than just on your king, who's got 60 martial and conquers duchies every week. There's more of a plan if you want to go after a great sword and keep that in your family for generations, or if it was your grandfather who won the sword, like whatever. It keeps a legacy, whereas before I just kind of forget about the person I just was, but maybe that's just because I have a short attention span. Basically, there's different things that are now important rather than just titles and cities. Plus you've got extra events and decisions to fuck over your subjects thanks to holding court. If you want to make a random courtier who got your daughter pregnant your court jester, you can. Or if you have a giant brother, make them your bodyguard. If you want to kill someone in your family, make them your champion. Send them off to fight Vikings. There's just endless possibilities. At the very least, you'll prolong your overall character creation before you just create a new one because you're bored. If you're more into the gameplay aspect, doing little meta incest runs, my son is extremely horny. The seduction tree meta is just perfect. There's a lot of features such as the artifacts again, that will allow you to combine and stack things like prestige and renown and piety, allowing you to get that world conquer before the year 868. Again, it helps with roleplay. If your character's meant to be a religious fanatic cultist, you can stack piety to oblivion. If you're some all-conquering Norse Viking, then you can stack prestige. Again, there's just more possibilities, and it's as simple as that really. The new culture system will also help with this, allowing you to create hardcore mountain troops like you're in Hoi 4, or jungle warriors if you're playing in Africa. Basically, you can build your units around the terrain that you're in, or you're going to be in, again adding to the planning aspect. You could already do this depending on your culture before, like you could use elephants if you were in India, but it was kind of limited, whereas now your whole army can be suited to your location. It creates that connection between you and your kingdom, making your fantasies of cannibalistic, medieval, incestuous colonization of Ireland even easier. Gameplay wise, culture definitely needed a massive boost. It was just kind of there before, that's all you can really say about it. It was there, it was just an inactive research tree, and most of the time you didn't even have control over it. However, with the ability to merge and mix and basically create your own culture, again it really makes every playthrough feel unique. It adds to the roleplay even more, and allows you to justify why your Jarl from Iceland has moved to India and converted to Islam. Overall, there's just a lot more to the game, and that can never really be a bad thing with a game like CK3. I want it to be complex where I'm constantly doing something or constantly thinking about what I'm gonna do next, planning and scheming, rather than just sat on 5 speed waiting to fabricate a claim. I think the DLC is a great step in the right direction. If every DLC is kind of as in-depth and content-packed as this, then I think we've got a fucking game on our hands, boys. I've got about 400-500 hours in Crusader Kings, which for a game like this isn't actually that much. And that's because the game lacked like a bit of just content. And that's content which I think this DLC really adds, which makes me excited for the future of this game. Obviously, this is a Paradox DLC, so as you'd expect.
What is going on the streets, fam? Like, whoa, where did we get here?
You could get the special edition, but I don't really want to suggest that for any game, because it's a big investment. The special edition is always like £40 more, and it's an investment based purely on hope. And this isn't Star Wars.
Based on nothing but hope.
Pre-orders.
Built on hope.
If you look at other Paradox games like Crusader Kings 2 and Hearts of Iron 4, the DLC is what really makes the game. So I'm hoping that's kind of the same thing with Crusader Kings 3. At least in my opinion, Paradox has a good history of making DLCs, and good DLCs at that. DLCs that really change the game completely. So I think it's worth the purchase. If you really like Crusader Kings anyway, it's definitely worth the purchase. But I'm excited. I'm definitely going to make more Crusader Kings content, probably an incest only challenge because you freaks love it. Let me know your thoughts, send them to me right fucking now, comment them right now. Right, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.